In the last episode, I caught you up on how land life got in the way of remodeling this 1974 Westsail. With that aside, along with some vacation, it's back to the to-do list to get this finished here in 2024. You also saw repair to the area of the hull underneath the settee table. We were able to sand from the outside and inside and confirm that there were no structural damages, and we got that all glassed in. We also tackled the softness in the deck. It required additional support and fiberglassing. And in this episode, follow along through all the various steps to close in where I removed a compass instrument from the cockpit vertical wall. Getting rid of this is a huge help in being able to lift out the cockpit floor, have easy access to the new Beta 38 below. We go through fiberglassing, sanding, more fiberglassing, thicken epoxy sanding, and so on as we prime it and get this finally repaired in order to paint the entire deck here shortly. As always, thank you again. Like, subscribe, follow along as we restore this 1974 Westsail 32 and get it back to the Atlantic Ocean. This project to fix the cockpit has been on the list for quite a while. We needed to gain complete access, and it was quite difficult to remove the cockpit floor with not only the throttle, the shore power plug, but now this compass, and it just made for a difficult maneuvering to remove it from its position. So one of the first steps really is to make sure we have a template. We want to make sure the amount of glass that we lay up matches the mill thickness of the fiberglass of the cockpit. So you see here, we're just having a piece of marine ply with a little bit of plastic wrap on it. So we should be able to thicken epoxy this area, layer it up to match the mill thickness. We want to make sure we sand back around the site of where we're going to patch so that we can get good mechanical adhesion to the existing fiberglass. So with everything in place, we're able to just clean up here and prep the site. We're using acetone. We'll let that evaporate out and make sure we have everything ready to go. I'm just sort of showing you the cutter I've used. The battery was dead. I have some nice surgical scissors that do the trick. Obviously our template, and we're using 1708 fiberglass. You've seen this all before, the mixing of 5-to-1, but if you use the West System product, the pumps are already set up that way, so it's just one pump of each. And I've gotten pretty good at making sure I have enough fiberglass to wet everything out and take it up topside to do any sort of repairs. Now how to mix another little batch. But the first steps, as you've seen many times before on this channel and others, is you want to wet out the existing fiberglass. Of course, thicken epoxy is applied to kind of get into the gaps. I decided to do this sort of in 2 days, kind of fill the void and then come back and do the final patches. So of course spill ply allows for a mean blush to be collected. Here we're just sort of filling in the gap, making sure everything is nice and smooth and flat. You can see here just applying a little bit of thick epoxy to get those voids, to get the old screw holes as well. And we had already sanded down the previous day's work. And this is just sort of getting the last of it. So yeah, a little bit of a clickbait. It's not a massive hole. It really feels great to get this project done. Sort of gives me the ability to see how the primer will look as well before we use it in other areas of the boat. But it also really gets rid of this positioning of the compass and moving that more to either side of the companionway. I wanted to give you a good look at the back side of this job. Again, we'll come in here. It's pretty flush, but we will sand this site as well and fiberglass from the back side, just to do it properly. And on a future episode coming out soon, you'll get to see how I transform the old weathered wood. I'm quite happy with Interlux, and we'll be varnishing, sanding and varnishing the entire boat. But it was nice to see how the product looked at a very sort of smaller site to give us an idea of how we're going to work with the varnish throughout the boat. Also coming out soon in a new episode, we walk through all the stages of getting the topside painted. We walk through painting of the boot stripe, rolling and tipping, and it's more of just showing you the transformation cosmetically that the boat goes through as we get it ready to be sent back to the Atlantic Ocean. And lastly, the other thing we will begin to cover is how we are transforming the entire electrical system on this Westsail 32 and reorganizing the electric into a more central location on the boat, getting it set up for coastal cruising. As always, thank you again. Like, subscribe. Our goal is to finish this restoration by the end of the year. And so you'll get to see all of that in the coming episodes. Thank you again for watching. Take care.